I feel so lucky because I know so many wonderful, powerful females who are in this room right now, and the ones that I don't know, I will know you, and you will become my friend. So don't worry about that. I am Jacqueline Boyes. I work for Arizona Women's Education and Employment, which is a program of a New Leaf, and I'm really glad that you're all here. It's a Saturday. You could be anywhere, but you chose to be here, so thank you. So I've been going through some life changes, and I've been thinking about, okay, if I get engaged, married, and have a baby, which some of you have heard about this, okay? I'm like, so what am I going to do? Like, I don't know if I'll stay in my job or not. And I was joking around and said, you know what? I'm just going to get a panel of experts to come in and answer that for me. And look at that! We actually made that happen. So, and it only came true because I went to a workshop and I saw this beautiful, smart, talented Huffington Post author who I later found out has a doctorate in computer systems, and she also founded her own nonprofit called HerRights. So I fell in love, and I ran up to her, and I said, I need to know you, and we went out to lunch, and from there, this panel was born. So I'm going to share a little bit more about AWEE and how you can plug in with us at the end, but for now, I'd ask you to help me give a warm welcome to Dr. Tanu Ghoshal.
Thank you. Jackie is always so kind, and she's the only one who reminds me that I did a PhD. I work for Intel, where I really don't do much with what I did a PhD on. But as Jackie said, I really am amazed. You ladies are here. You could be anywhere on a Saturday, right? So, as Jackie said, yes, we went out for lunch, and she's the one who actually inspired me to do this. I'll share a little bit about HerRights and why I started it. So I come from India, and in Southeast Asia where I grew up, there are really a lot of really bad things happening to women. And one of the things I realized when I was working for Intel here, I was working with this amazing woman and many like you, I realized that we need to build up numbers, and we need to really empower women everywhere. Because it's hard to take advantage of a woman who is educated, who is earning her own money, and it's hard to take advantage of other women who are around women like that. So that's what I started HerRights from, because what I really wanted to do, I wanted to find women who are around here in my community, help them be successful, and then build that network to fund these causes like gender violence, rape, acid attack, and all of that, create awareness on that. So I kept on finding a lot of organizations which do targeted rehabilitation towards a certain cause, but I couldn't find anything who is building up this community and then channeling it back to that, right? So that's what HerRights is. You will have some material on that and the website on that, and then I'm extremely fortunate to be partnering with AWEE, and I would now like to introduce Heather, who actually is one of my closest friends now. She works in Intel with me. I really lean up on her for everything in life, but still her accomplishments are so great that I have to read it from a bio. So with that, Heather actually is in Intel's diversity and inclusion group. She actually has 15 years of experience in product management, IT, marketing, and she has done an MBA from Kellogg School of Management. She's also a certified integral coach. So that's why she helps me so much with all confusions in life. You guys can take advantage of also. And then she is, as the Intel's Global Diversity and Inclusion team member, she actually is the part of the program which have the 6 historically black colleges and universities, and they basically help do a college mentoring program with that, right? So she does many such. She just told me yesterday that we are doing something with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on that. So I really like everything she's about, and you will do too. So off to Heather.
Great, thank you, Tanu. I appreciate that. Okay, so I get the absolute pleasure of introducing our panelists today, who you're going to meet. And so first, Colleen Delolio Coons. Oh, she's with UPS. She's the Director of International Sales, and she supports UPS's West region, and her focus is on growing international sales. She's had a long career of mentoring and leadership at UPS. But since joining UPS, she's taken a leadership role in the UPS Women's Business Resource Group, and she helped to start UPS's, we call them employee resource groups, business resource groups. She started the employee resource group for Asians at UPS. So she's focused on the community mentorship. She also served on the board for NAWBO's Phoenix chapter as the Community Alliance Director. And prior to joining the UPS, she served in the U.S. Army and the National Guard. Oh, thank you. Thank you for your service. Great. Imelda Hartley is a business owner and mother of 14 children. Whoa! Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. To have both of those two words in the same sentence is amazing. Right? Let's give her credit. She's also a domestic violence survivor and a founder of Imelda's Happy Tamales, and you're going to enjoy some of her tamales here today. So you'll get to taste some of her food. And her company empowers women who are victims of domestic violence. And stick around for a little bit later because you'll get a chance to ask her how. She's an active community leader. She's also a member of the Edison Eastlake Resident Leadership Council and the Mercy Care Board of Directors. She traveled to Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico as a delegate representing the city of Phoenix on a trade, tourism, and protocol mission to promote regional cooperation and enhance economic opportunities. Please welcome Imelda. Great. And Patricia Davis. Patricia, I got to meet Patricia at Intel. She was one of my mentors when she was there. Patricia is an experienced human resources leader in organizational effectiveness, leader in manager development, and diversity and inclusion. She's held various human resources roles at Intel, Ford, Kraft Foods, and she drives development and implementation of human resource strategies. Right now, this is super fun to me. She is the Director of Human Resources for the Girl Scouts.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Awesome.
That's right. Arizona Cactus Pine Council. She's also the president and CEO of NAAHR, which is an organization for human resources professionals for the chapter here in Arizona. She earned her BS, her bachelor's in psychology from Hampton University, HBCU, and her Juris Doctorate from Washington University School of Law. Yes. So thank you. Okay, so now we'll get started. So today we're going to be talking about why women get stuck in the workplace and why women get stuck in their careers and sometimes in life. I'm going to give you this statistic and I want you guys to think about it. In 1948, this was over 50 years ago, just 30% of women were in the workforce or looking for jobs, just 30%. By 1999, so fast forward almost 50 years, that number was 76.8%. So about 76.8% of women were in the workforce. Now, if you come to 2018, the numbers slipped. It's now 74%, and the trend is going down. And so what we want to do is talk about today what might be causing those numbers to drop. It's a surprising number. Most of us probably expect it to be going up. So let's talk about what some of those factors are at play. So one of the things I'll ask our panel, what are 3 reasons why women feel stuck in the workplace? What are your thoughts?
I'll start. Yes, because I'm in the workplace. I think you have to first determine, are you working for necessity, right? Are you working because that's who you are and that's what you want to do? So if you're working from necessity, I think you can get stuck because as women, we also have other, I wouldn't say responsibilities, but other dreams, right? Having a family, having connected family, right? Also having friends, and not just looking at you, or not just looking at the workplace as a single source of feeling who you are, right? So what do you work as? Well, if you work from necessity, then you're gonna feel like you're gonna get stuck, right? So that's why I think people get stuck is, and I think we're gonna answer, how do you get out of being stuck, but more to come on that one.
I
Right?
like that teaser, I like that.
Yeah, it's cliffhanger.
There are two reasons. Research shows that one of this is the lack of leadership. The other one is the lack of opportunities for women to move up. And then, honestly, I truly believe as a woman that the main reason why women get stuck is because of the fear to me moving to the unknown. You know, it's just a fear, you know, what I'm gonna do next if I quit, if I go to get another job. But it is the lack of opportunities, one of the main reasons. I mean, there is much in certain companies, you cannot move up, you're just stuck. I mean, that's one of the reasons, you know, and the lack of female leadership roles.
Yeah, as a role model.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things we know is that women tend to think they have to be 100% qualified for a job before they will even apply for a job, and a white guy's like, I got a period after my name, so I'm qualified. So I think it goes back to your point, is that we don't even jump out there and say, you know, I'm qualified, I can do this job. But I think what's most important also is that you need to have an advocate or an ally in the workforce, somebody with power, somebody who can make those decisions behind closed doors where we don't even know decisions are being made. And that really boils down to whether somebody likes you or not. And so it gets to your responsibility of having to play. If you want to play in that world, you know, here are the rules, be able to get out there and get known and be seen. Because that is going to make all the difference in addition to having the qualifications.
Sure.
I think another reason why women feel stuck is they look around and they see men who are moving up the organization's ladder a lot faster and a lot quicker than they do. And the comparison is obvious. So then that begins to sort of be a repeating feeling inside of themselves.
Well, then I'll add to that. If you feel like you're being stuck, right? I've been lucky. I've been with the company for 26 years, and the company I work for is, you know, we have tons of opportunities. I think it's your mindset. So if you're going to be stuck, is it your mindset? Is it you putting that ceiling? Is it you putting that barrier? Is it you having that fear? But think about this: if you believe you can do this job or that job, or you have and you know there's an opportunity there, why is a man better at something than you are, right? So I think women get stuck, and I would say the number one reason is yourself. You're choosing to allow yourself to be stuck.
So I hear the fear, fear. Sometimes we get in our own way, lack of mentors. And then it's just not being able to visualize or envision yourself in that role. Yeah. So that's interesting. So what can we do about women who are not being groomed for leadership positions at work? Because one of the things that you mentioned, Patricia, is that somebody needs to like you at some point. And so one of the terms that's used is grooming. Because what we see is that men are more often groomed for leadership positions than women. What gets in the way of more women being groomed? What are your thoughts?
Go ahead.
I think it's the lack of awareness to hire a woman to move to top executive positions. If you don't have a team that, you know, it's inclusive, you know, usually, you know, we see that leadership mostly in males, and they figured out that not many females, but if we have in place at the company, you know, a great team that can, you know, bring greenness, you know, and then women can be moving to executive positions. But I think it's that lack. Many companies don't have that leadership, you know, a group, you know, to help women, you know, move up.
Oh, so the leadership training.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Got it.
I would say that I don't believe it's my company's responsibility to say, Colleen, let me do X, Y, Z so I can get you promoted. I think there's so much competition in this world, men, women, millennials, older generation, right, where I fit. We won't tell you, but I don't think it's their responsibility. I think it's my responsibility, right? And that's first and foremost. So if I see that Astria, right, actually Tanu, she's a woman that I look up to, right? She's much younger than I am, but I still look up to her, and so I think it's my responsibility to take her phone number down and say, Tanu, would you mind being my mentor? Or if you see somebody that you admire, or that's who you want to be, I'm pretty confident that 90% of the people out there, the women that are out there, the people that you look up to, would not mind being a mentor. Hey, I lack in this area, or I believe I lack in this area, can you help me? And it would be an honor, right? It would be an honor to help somebody get to the place that they want to be.
I think that's true, that you are responsible for your own happiness. You are responsible for your own career, but there is a power structure in place that we have to acknowledge that exists. And so whether it's a formal leadership development program that gets you access in front of people who need to be able to make the decisions, or building your own sort of support group, a leadership development support group, that is part of your responsibility. But I think also that people choose people who are like themselves, right? I used to tell the VP at Intel, if I could have all black women around me too, like you have all white guys around you, I would love it. I would love that. So I'm not surprised that you pick people like yourself, because I would pick people like myself too. And so we gotta go to the next step and recognize that they may believe and support diversity conceptually, but when it falls into their organization, into their team, they're gonna pick the one and develop the one that comfortably looks like them. And so they're gonna have to step out of their comfort zone, and you're gonna have to find some courageous leaders, help move them along to make their decisions, because it might be unconscious. There's a lot of conscious bias out there.
Yeah.
We know that's there. I think it's happening right now. But there's also some things that, you know, we have the responsibility for ourselves too.
That is correct. I mean, companies are acknowledging right now, you know, that why we're not really growing, you know, and they are seeing the need to bring more, you know, empowerment, you know, support groups for women to move out, because we as a woman, we tend to think that was we, well, male, it's just me. And so they seen that power in ourselves, but then they lack those type of programs, you know, or leadership programs. And like you said, you know, I mean, yes, it comes to myself, but then if I'm not empowered, then how do I move out if my company doesn't really offer that? So it's kind of stuck right there.
Here's also something that I've seen, and I'll let you get back to your questions, but this is a rhetorical question, so please just think about this. Have you ever seen or heard, you know, whether it's directly related to you or maybe here in the news, that somebody got a position, or a woman got this position, or a woman got that position, or a woman got that position, and in your head you immediately go, well, what did she do to get that? But in a negative way. That's a rhetorical question. When men hear about a man getting promoted and getting that job and getting that, what goes through their head is like, oh yeah, one of the guys, right? More power. We as women, one thing that we have to do, and I've made a commitment, I would say 7 years ago to this, is that women need to bring up women. So you talk about the social network, or that network, you talk about that mentorship. I would ask, you know, if I was gonna ask anything of anybody in this room today, whatever you think, you have to bring up women. Women need to bring up women, because that's the only way that we're gonna make those numbers grow, when we overcome the challenges of why that number is going down.
That's excellent.
Can I give you an example about that?
Yeah.
So whenever a public guy makes an announcement and talks about his accomplishments, he may say, I'm an Eagle Scout, right? And that's one of the things that we all admire. But when women make those accomplishments, they don't say I earned a gold award, which is the gold Girl Scout equivalent, and actually it's harder to get, of course. Than an Eagle Award. So we don't even talk about ourselves
That's true.
and set the standards and say, you would be lucky if you could get a gold award and you made a change in the community. So I totally agree with what you're saying. We have to support each other, we have to toot our own horns too, and make what we do just as impressive as what they do.
That's great.
We're talking about mentors right now. Raise your hand if you have a mentor. Okay. Raise your hand if you mentor someone else. It's brilliant. Okay, so what we just heard today, hopefully you all we can take that back home and put that in our pocket about mentoring other women.
Can I add, but
Yeah, please.
in addition to a mentor, you need the advocate. So a mentor is somebody who may give you advice and, say, this is the way I would do it or whatever. But you need somebody out there who, when they're saying we're making the decision, they'll say, what about tenant? And that may be the only 3 words that have to be said, but you need somebody to say it. So you need a mentor, but you really need an advocate, which is really hard to find too. So you have to be really purposeful in doing that.
And when you're purposeful in that, it needs to be, if you're gonna find an advocate, you need to also know their pedigree.
Yes.
Because if their pedigree isn't uplifted, that they may not really be an advocate for you.
Choose wisely.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
How did you all find advocates? What do you recommend? If they were to go, if our group today was to go out and find an advocate, what's step 1 so that they can get started? What do you recommend?
A friend that might be a step ahead of them. A friend, ask them for support, I mean, I used to call like all my friends, and then you get to know on mixed up, you get to know people, and you get business card, ask for help, don't be scared, I mean, I got this idea, I wanna do this, I want to move up, I mean, I seen that you have more knowledge into what I am, what field, what would you recommend, what the recommendation would you give me? And I think that's how to start, start asking.
Let's ask for help.
And I think even to back up further is if I see an advocate in you, right, and I know I want you to be my advocate. I think it's kind of like in sales, right? This is what we do. When I know I want you as a customer, right, I start to do research and find out, well, what group do you belong to? Oh, you belong to the Women's Business Leadership Group. I think I'm gonna attend that meeting, right? But then before I probably approach you, I'm going to demonstrate my capability, right? I'm going to make you notice me. So maybe I'll take a leadership role within that resource group to demonstrate, for you to recognize me. And then I'll go and approach you, right? Because an advocate may not want to put their handprint on you if they don't know who you are, because you're not going to endorse somebody that you're not confident that's going to bring your name up as well, right?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I would add is that ask other women who advocates for you, because they may have some insights that you don't know. So just ask around. Who's a good advocate for you?
Can we just step back really quickly from a mindset standpoint, right? I was 17 years old. I was from California. Well, I am from California.
You still are.
And back then, when I was 16, 17, my whole life was like shopping, right? I was that stereotypical teenage girl from California. And something possessed me to like join the army, right? And the whole joke of my friends and family was, Colleen, you're gonna be like that Goldie Hawn movie, right? And actually I went in before that Goldie Hawn movie came out, but everybody's like, Queen, you're Goldie Hawn, right? Private Benjamin. Okay. I say that because I say, look at me, I didn't have, I went in, but I didn't go in, I didn't think I was gonna make it. But when I came out of that, right, out of 8 years, I opened up my hand and I'm like, I could physically and mentally do anything I want, okay? Every single one of you could join the military today, go through basic training, and I promise you, women can make it through basic training faster than the men, or easier than
You
the
have
men.
deep faith, Colin.
Exactly. No, I'm serious. Yeah. Oh my God, I can't do push-ups. I couldn't even do one female push-up.